Welcome! In this video, you will learn the basics of argumentative writing. When you hear the word argument, what do you think of? You might imagine something like the cartoon shown here. Calvin's mom tells him, "Come on, Calvin, we're going to the store." Calvin says, "Can Hobbs come?" Hobbs is his stuffed tiger. His mom says, "No, just leave him here." Calvin yells, "But I want him to come with us." In the end, Calvin is holding Hobbs and smiling. And he says, "If you can't win by reason, go for volume." Now, this is a funny example of a verbal argument. But it is not the kind of argument we are talking about. In writing, you cannot win an argument by yelling. Instead, you need to use facts and reason. Argumentative writing is writing that defends the author's position on a controversial issue and attempts to convince readers to agree. For example, you might write an essay arguing that high school students should be required to take a foreign language class, or that texting has a beneficial impact on children's reading and writing skills. These are controversial opinions because many people would not agree with them. In an argumentative essay, the thesis clearly states the author's point of view. A thesis statement appears in the introduction of an essay. In argumentative writing, it must show what you, the writer, believe about the topic. For example, if you were writing about required foreign languages, your thesis could say, "Foreign language should be mandatory at all high schools," but it should not say something like, "There are many pros and cons of mandatory foreign language classes." In argumentative writing, you must take a side. The body of an argumentative essay should support the thesis, using facts, reasons, and evidence. This is what makes argumentative writing different from a shouting match. You must use logic and evidence, rather than attacks or yelling. This will primarily be done through using syllogisms. A syllogism is a series of premises, or statements that we take to be true, which logically lead to a conclusion, which is the idea you are trying to prove. Here is a simplified example of a syllogism from Letter from a Birmingham Jail by Martin Luther King, Jr. In this letter, Dr. King argues that the law of segregation is unjust. He states, first, that laws that create inequality are unjust. Second, he states that segregation creates inequality. From these premises, he concludes that the law of segregation is unjust. Since he puts his thoughts in a logical order, readers can understand the reasons for his belief. This is the basic structure that you should follow in each paragraph of an argumentative essay. In addition, argumentative writing can be strengthened by using ethos, pathos, and logos. These are rhetorical devices used in argumentative writing, which make it more persuasive. Ethos means that you demonstrate moral character to establish credibility and trust. For example, Dr. King uses ethos in Letter from a Birmingham Jail when he quotes the Bible to demonstrate his faith and moral values to the Christian and Jewish clergymen to whom he is writing. Pathos means that you appeal to the audience's emotion to encourage empathy. It's important not to be dishonest or manipulative, but if it is done appropriately, pathos is a good way to show why the issue matters. For example, Dr. King used pathos in Letter from a Birmingham Jail when he described the traumatic effects of racism. Finally, logos means that you use logic and reasoning to show the truth of your argument. For example, in Letter from a Birmingham Jail, Dr. King argued that he was justified in breaking the law because there is a difference between just and unjust laws, and he only advocated disobeying unjust laws. If you use a combination of ethos, pathos, and logos in your writing, your arguments are likely to be more effective as a result.